G'day Success Council members. This has turned out awesome. I found some more time, so I'm going to do another Q&A for members only. So here's what's going to happen. I want you to watch this video because I'm going to answer two of the most commonly asked questions. I don't want to have to repeat myself over and read those questions, so please watch this video. You're going to get the two most commonly asked questions answered in this video. And then if you have any other questions that are about strategy or implementation, not about support or billing or lost password, none of that, any questions about strategy and implementation below this video, go ahead and write it in the description, in the comments, and I will go through and read that. I'm going to respond to this video on Monday. So any questions posted after Monday, I won't get to. And I'm also not going to answer any questions if you've posted them somewhere else. I'm just going to answer the questions that are below this video. So let's see, the two questions that are most commonly asked. One is portfolio percentages. It's like, Max, should I have like, I've got 20% in crypto and I've got 30% in precious metals and 40% in Apple stock and blah, blah, blah. I can't answer the questions, but what you should have in your portfolio. The question relates to what is your risk tolerance, and the question relates to what you think is going to happen. What you'll find in the members area of Success Council are the tools that I believe you need to have a good, clear understanding of how the world works. Once you understand how the world works, you understand what premium for you to put on certain things. For example, should you clean your Bitcoin? Should you have Bitcoins that cannot be traced to or are anonymous? There is some premium for that. It means that you can't be harassed or chased, or people can't come and find you because with certainty they know you have Bitcoin. There is some value to that secrecy and anonymity. You have to decide what the price is if you're willing to pay for that anonymity. In order to achieve that anonymity, you might have to take it through another coin, onto a private exchange, and you might have to go through 3 or 4 steps, all these fees being collected along the way, and you've got to decide if that is worth it. And so all these different asset classes have different risks associated to them. They have different benefits associated to them. And only once you're educated can you come up to, well, this is a concern that I have. I want to be able to, if anything happens in my country, I need to be able to walk out with the shirt on my back and go to a new place and have some wealth. And if that's the case, there are strategies for that, and I've given you those strategies inside the Success Council. But there's a premium, there's a cost to that. Let's say you want that strategy and you want it for precious metals. Well, you can't walk across the border with precious metals. You can with Bitcoin codes, but you can't with precious metals. So what do you got to do? Well, right now, today, in the good times when you can, you've got to fly to that place, buy precious metals, put it in a vault or a storage thing there, pay someone to store it for you, fly yourself back. There's a cost there. You're not going to do all that to put $30 worth of silver in a vault, right? You're not going to spend $2,000 on travel to achieve that. So that's something to think about. Depending on how big your portfolio, the answer to this changes. Depending on how big a risk you think your particular country is, that changes things. Depending on a whole bunch of things, right? All these things change. And some of it is just personality style. What is your risk profile? Do you like a lot of risk for big game? Do you like not much risk? What percentage of your portfolio do you want to put in what would be considered risky assets? What would be in safe assets? You can only answer this question for yourself. The only way to answer that question is to get educated, which is what the tools in the Success Council members area are. If you go through them, you will understand the potential risks and issues, and you will start formulate, that's a real issue for me. That's an issue for my brother who lives in that country. It's not an issue for me. You start to make up this stuff, okay? So I can't answer questions about what percentages you should be here, there, and other. Here's what I would say in general terms at high level. Bitcoin, precious metals are at standing places to be for the next couple of years. Other asset classes are more risky in my opinion. Okay, the next question is, it's like, okay, so I get it. I buy Bitcoin now or precious metals now and it goes up, but what do I do in 2 years' time? Like we might be in hyperinflation. So what's the point of selling my Bitcoin for $100,000 when a hamburger costs $100,000? And there's less kind of stressing and fretting about what to do in a couple of years. Okay, I can answer this in like 2 or 3 different ways. I'm going to give you both, teach you how to fish and give you the fish as well. There will always be a currency, right? We are not going back to, we might call it barter, but we're not going back to actual, like I'll trade my fry pan for your potato. We're not going back to that level of barter because we have too many good options now. We have cryptocurrency, we have precious metals. There will always be a currency. And so even if the fiat currencies of the world, let's just say they all collapse, they all go into hyperinflation, they're all completely worthless. Don't worry, the guy at the hamburger stand, the guy at the grocery store, they still need to sell their wares and they still want something for it and they still want currency. Now what the currency will be, maybe it'll be Bitcoin. And if you're holding precious metals, maybe you'll have to sell your precious metals to buy Bitcoin and then use your Bitcoin to buy your groceries. Or it might be the other way around. Or it might be both. And maybe there's a grocery store over there who only accepts Bitcoin. There's a grocery store over there who only accepts precious metals. And there's the guy selling her his house that only accepts, fine art. All these things can happen. Don't worry about how you're going to sell your profit. Know this, if you have something valuable when a lot of other assets have gone down in value, everyone's going to want what you've got. So you're going to have an infinite number of options, way more options than you do now to sell them. So, and you can sell now, Bitcoin and precious metals, they're both extremely liquid markets. You can transfer your Bitcoin onto any one of 100 exchanges around the world, sell it, have the money wired to you and have it within 24 hours. Well, it's only getting better because Bitcoin is becoming, and all cryptocurrencies are becoming more valuable, more utilized, and in this next boom, way more people than ever before are going to come into the market space, which means all these new customers, which means all these new businesses will pop up to service those customers. Don't worry about how you're going to transfer your wealth into something else at that time. And it's also a little bit of a fearmonger thing. It's like, well, I mean, what's the point of owning Bitcoin if hamburgers cost $100,000? If a hamburger costs $100,000, I can promise you, one Bitcoin will be worth more than one hamburger. If a hamburger costs $100,000, your Bitcoin will be worth millions, and one Bitcoin will be worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, perhaps. Okay, the ratio of hamburger to Bitcoin, I believe, is only getting bigger, meaning Bitcoin is going to be more valuable than hamburger. And so whatever the crazy zany price of a hamburger is, much, 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 much more on Bitcoin. And you'll be able to trade your Bitcoin for the hamburger. So don't stress about those things. Yeah, all right. I think that's the summation of those answers. Don't stress about how to get out. Oh, there's one little part I did want to add. So the other part of that question is, what asset classes do I go to? So, okay, Bitcoin's worth millions and millions of dollars and hamburgers are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, so what do I do now? Two things. One, I will tell you when we get there. Don't worry, we're several years away from that, if it's going to happen at all. So I will give you the fish, don't worry. But what you're looking for is, my thing, what I like is cash flow. And it hurts my heart that I'm not in cash flow right now. I'm in precious metals and I'm in Bitcoin. Neither of those things give a cash flow. But at some point, I'm going to trade those in for some things that give cash flow. It could be an apartment building. It could be a house. It could be high dividend paying stocks. It could be buying a business. It could be a whole bunch of things, right? I'll tell you when we get there what is the most undervalued. But the reason all these things are so overvalued right now, I want you to understand this. We are in a debt-fueled bubble. Interest rates are near zero. There's always currency creation. With that currency creation, it goes into the banking system. At the banking system, they do fractional reserve banking, and the money supply expands incredibly. It is a debt-fueled bubble. The assets that do the best in a debt-fueled bubble are assets with a yield that deliver some kind of cash flow. Why? Because if I can borrow money at 1% and buy a house that is paying 2% rent, I can borrow as much money as I want and keep buying. Like this loan services itself, and I just am buying myself free cash flow every single day. Okay? So in a debt-fueled bubble, the things that give cash flow just go off the charts in price. Real estate, stock market, yielding stock market, and other things. Because there's an infinite amount you can borrow. But that cannot go on forever. When that bubble pops, the price of those things gets crashed because all of the people, they were the most leveraged people. They were the most in debt up to their eyeballs people. And when things go south and it starts to go down and all of a sudden they're upside down, now it's just all my equity is gone, I walk away. And so those are the ones that are going to get hurt the most. That's why we stand on the sidelines, wait for the price of those things to get destroyed. We come in, buy up all those things, And now we buy actually much more cash flow for our money, and we didn't have to leverage ourselves to the eyeballs like the others did just a few years earlier. And that's why all those things are happening. So once this debt-filled bubble collapses, we want to jump in and buy up the cash flow assets because they will not be as overvalued then. Okay, guys, hope that's the two most common questions. So please, you'll let me know if I'll catch you out if you ask that question below. It means you didn't watch this whole video. And so I will go ahead and answer all these questions on Monday. If you're seeing this video after Monday, it's too late. You can't ask your question because they won't be answered, but don't worry. I'll be doing another one soon after that. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon.